Is your B2B brand on social media? That's the big question that we're going to be discussing today in episode 41 of Socedo Live. So, a lot of B2B companies and B2B marketers really discount social media as one of their priority channels. I think that there's a large kind of notion that social media is really for B2C marketers still today, that it's typically going to be consumers that are using social media. So I wanted to pull out a study from IDC, the International Data Corporation, that was published a few years ago that really debunks this myth. I've got the study here in front of me. You can look it up online. But really the main point that they make of the people that they studied, this is an established analyst firm, that 75% of buyers actually use social media to support their purchase decisions. These are B2B buyers that are using social media even just a few years ago to support these decisions. That really does show how powerful social media is becoming today, even in the B2B context. Now we hear this a lot from customers, others that are in our community that, yeah, Asim, I get it, 75% of B2B buyers are on social media, but those are really maybe not the decision makers. They're more junior people. They're not necessarily the people that we want to be going after because we sell to the CIOs, the C-suite director level. We sell to decision makers. So we're going to stick with cold calling and cold emails. And in many ways, this study kind of debunks that as well. What they find was that 84% of C-level and vice president executives use social media to support their purchase decisions. So it's actually more weighted to the C-level suite, the vice presidents, the decision makers that are actually using social media to impact their purchasing decisions. It's super interesting and it makes a lot of sense. A lot of times the higher you get in management, the more you're working on your personal brand, the more you're spending time researching, exploring what's going on out there in the industry, and the more attuned you may be to social media. Let's be honest, in today's world, social is the platform that we're all consuming information on. No matter what your age, the age ranges widely vary on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. And so really it does make sense to have your B2B company on social media and have a presence on social media. One more stat here on the decision-making side. Again, there's a lot of surprising insights here, but really especially when it comes to decision makers. IDC actually reported that 84% of people, decision makers that were using social media to influence their decisions, had 84% bigger budgets. They made 61% more purchase decisions, and they had influence over a greater span of purchase decisions than those buyers who did not use social media to support their purchase decisions. So again, what this shows is that the people who are on social media, that are using social media to influence their purchase decisions, really are the decision makers and the people that you want to be going after. Take a look at the study. It's online. It's from a few years ago where IDC really published all of this data in a pretty wide and broad study showing how much influence social media has amongst the B2B buyer. Now, I started this video talking about the fact that a lot of B2B marketers discount social media. Today in 2018, I'll still say that most B2B brands have a presence on social media. They're there, they've got the account, whether it's on LinkedIn or Twitter, they've got a presence. But are you really investing? Or is it just a checkbox to show that you have a presence? That's really the question here, especially when you look at these stats at how powerful social media can be. You've got to ask yourself, are you really investing in social? It's not enough just to have the presence, just to have the profile, but have you actually built an audience? Have you built a significant audience? Is it the right audience? Remember, if social media is going to be so impactful in the buying decision, you want to make sure that you have the same credibility as your competitor, so that when that potential buyer goes to their social profile versus yours, they're seeing activity, they're seeing engagement, they're seeing an audience. You want to make sure that's the right audience. I get it. You're going after a small B2B community. Make sure you're targeting the right people. You don't need 500,000 consumer followers. You need 10,000 of the right followers. Is somebody actually actively posting, engaging, and responding on these channels? It's not enough to have a dormant presence on social media. You can't just have an intern do this or somebody that's part-time. Somebody's got to be managing it, right? Social media is real time. You've got to be posting every day. You've got to be engaging and responding. And think about your sales team or your employees as a whole. Do they have a presence on social media? Are they actively representing your brand on social media? That's a great way to get to more and more of these decision makers that are making B2B purchases. And finally, do you have a budget for social advertising? These days, you'll get a lot more visibility if you boost posts, if you have a little bit of social media budget. So after reading into these stats, seeing the study, knowing that 75% of buyers use social media to support their purchase decisions, and that 84% of C-level and decision-making buyers are using social media, think to yourself, are you investing in it enough? Most B2B brands are not. Even if you have a presence, make sure that you put the right amount of resources there. It's an important channel. Learn to measure it. Learn to really invest in it because the numbers are out there. Go check out the study yourself. Let us know if you've got any questions, and always feel free to sign up for a trial of Socedo if you're looking to grow that B2B audience.